Afterword. History of life on Earth. The unbroken chain from the first life to you. Still being written. We began this book on a young and furious Earth, with no life anywhere, only rock and water and restless chemistry, sorting itself into shapes in the dark. Now, hundreds of pages and nearly 4 billion years later, we ended here, with you, a warm, breathing, thinking creature holding a book. That sentence is easy to write and almost impossible to take in. Between those two moments lies the longest and strangest journey the planet has ever known, and every single step of it had to happen for you to reach this page. For almost all of that journey, no one was watching. The first cells did not know they were the beginning of anything. The fish that hauled itself into the shallows had no idea it was inventing the leg. The small furred animals that survived the death of the dinosaurs weren't aware they were opening the door to a whole world of mammals. Life simply happened, blindly, patiently, beautifully, with no one there to notice how astonishing it was. And then, in the very last flicker of the story, something genuinely new appeared. A creature evolved that could look back down the entire chain and understand it. That could dig up the bones of its own ancestors, read the record written inside its own cells, and slowly piece together where it had come from. After 4 billion years of life living without ever understanding itself, a part of the living world finally woke up and asked the question. That part is us. That part is you. It would be a mistake, though, to think of yourself as the finish line. Nothing in this story suggests it was aiming at us, and nothing suggests it stops here. Evolution is still running, quietly, in every generation of every living thing, including our own. We are not the last word. We are only the newest one, and someday we too will be the ancient ancestor of something we cannot imagine. But we did do one thing no creature had ever done before. Alongside the slow inheritance carried in our genes, the kind that takes thousands of generations to change anything at all, we invented a second kind and a far faster one. We began passing knowledge directly from mind to mind, in stories, in teaching, in writing, in books exactly like this one. A discovery made by a single person can now belong to everyone within a lifetime instead of an age. It is how the sharpened stone became the wheel, and the wheel became the printing press, and the printing press became the words in front of you right now. For the first time in the history of life, wisdom can outrun death. And here is the quiet gift that comes with understanding all of it. Once you know the story, you can never again feel entirely alone in the world. Every living thing you meet is family. The oak in the yard is a distant cousin, running on the same ancient chemistry. The dog at your feet shares your warm blood, your four-chambered heart, the very same small bones deep in your ears. The mushroom, the sparrow, the whale, the blade of grass shouldering up through a crack in the sidewalk. All of them are branches of the same tree you are standing on, every one descended from that first patient cell. You are not a visitor to life on Earth. You are life on Earth, in one of its countless passing forms, briefly awake and looking around. That kinship carries a weight the old creatures never had to bear. We are the first form of life with the power to reach back and cut the thread on purpose, to end whole branches of the family, or, if we are careless enough, our own. But we are also the first with the power to choose not to. The first who can look at a vanishing species and decide it is worth saving. The first who can understand the machinery well enough to protect it. No animal before us ever held that choice. It belongs to us now, whether we ask for it or not. So the story does not really end at this page. It ends, for now, wherever you set the book down and look up. At the tree outside the window, older in its lineage than any empire. At the impossible fact of your own hand, an ancient fin reshaped 10,000 times over. At the night sky made of the very same atoms that made you. 4 billion years of struggle and accident and sheer stubborn survival led, at last, to a creature that could feel wonder. You are that wonder, standing at the far end of the longest thread there is, not the point of the story, but its newest storyteller. And the thread runs on past you into hands and minds not yet born. What they inherit is still being written. And now you know that you get to hold the pen.